can't tell, that's my friend Mela B singing a song to me.
Hiya.
If you're so lucky, then someday you'll get to hear her live if we ever get out of this terrible, terrible disease called COVID. So, I was going to start off the show with you playing your song. That way we can spend some more time collaborating on ideas.
Oh, okay. Oh, about the song.
Which one would you like to play? I'm here. I'm down for anything.
Oh, oh. You know my brain don't work like that.
Okay.
I need time.
Well,
I need time.
could you play that one about Vietnam?
Okay.
Would you
cool.
want to do that one?
Cool. Sure.
Tell everyone what that one is.
Like the whole backstory or like a little bit?
Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes. Okay, cool. So technically this isn't my song.
Oh.
It's my dad's.
I guess we'll allow it.
Yeah. He wrote this back in Vietnam. That's why it's called Vietnam. But yeah, he wrote it as a poem. He told it to me so much when I was growing up, and I actually didn't know what it was about until I became an adult. And then randomly he told me the whole backstory, and I can get into that later, but
Sure.
yeah, so I always knew I wanted to turn it into a song ever since I was about 9. So then it happened. Yay.
I'm excited.
I really like what Steve Doctor has done with it. He's made it sound a lot better. So.
Oh, did he do something different? Well, you talk about that after.
Yeah. He
up,
took
Sam.
it and he mixed and mastered it, and he put some stuff to it, and it sounds good.
Nice.
So.
Okay.
Yerp.
I'm ready.
Ote. The night it falls, the sounds they stop. I think of the hill with Charlie on top. When out of the silence, a flash and a shot. My friend is asleep next to me on his cot. Closer, Charlie comes. Don't put my caretaker, sip from my last cold beer. Turn to my buddy, he's already gone. Stared at the blood on the cot he was on. I thought of the times we were back in the rim, sipping away at our high school beers. We'd walk away happy and laugh for the time. You'd crawl through a bush like your love for a dime. It's all over now. It's all over now, except for the part, friend that lies in my broken heart.
All right. Oh my word! I almost cried, man. It's
Ah.
crazy. It's
Well, good
so.
thing I didn't tell you what it was about beforehand.
I know. I know. It's been an emotional day for me.
Oh, I'm
Really
sorry.
emotional. Like probably a couple of months. But you guys all know that. I've been talking in the podcast here and there about things that have been going on. But hey, a good way to kick off the show, especially with good music, good people. Welcome to the Why Are You Laughing podcast. Mela B's on again. So happy to have you on. It's always a treasure to see how you're doing, and see how your songwriting continues to progress. And you sound better than ever, my friend. Really
Thank you.
awesome. I'm so happy to hear your music finally on like Apple and stuff like that. You know, um, because people need to hear you, need to hear how awesome you are. I already know, and I had the privilege of knowing for a few years. So, but
A little more than a few years.
yeah, I know it's crazy. Like we can get into that later. But talk to me about that song. Talk to me that's like. What inspired you to write that? Besides the story that you just told us, is there more to it?
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said before, I actually didn't know as a child. My dad didn't get into the details. But when I got older, he kind of told me more about, he was a chef in the army. I knew that when I was young. He loves to cook, and he still cooks for an army. They have to save a bunch of food because he just still cooks and cooks. But
A chef.
yes, he is a chef. Spoke fluent Vietnamese when he was over there. He
Yeah.
couldn't stand people, talking behind his back. So he's like, no, you're going to teach me this Vietnamese. So it's really funny, this, big Italian man speaking Vietnamese.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, he had a best friend in the army. I feel like he should be telling this story, but
No, I gotcha.
yeah, his best friend, he was a black man, and they were friends, but something had gone on, and it was just a bunch of racist, stupid thing that went on, and one of his comrades had thought that his friend had stole something and complained about it, and then killed him. Like there's this huge, war going on, and yet on the same team, they killed him because they thought he was bad. He was black. Wow. It like, wow. Yeah. So that was right in front of my dad. And so
Oof.
that's kind of what the song is about. He looks over, he sees the blood on his cot and everything. And it's just gruesome. And so my dad kind of went crazy after that. Like you can tell that was traumatizing. Not
Sure.
only was the war traumatizing, but his, best friend right next to him. And
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
so yeah, when he got out of the war, he was a little angry about that. So he tried to find people that weren't racist.
That's good people to be around if you can
Yep.
find them.
Yep.
Ah,
So
man,
that's
that's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah, that's one of the main reasons why he had become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, because there's no racism among us. So
Gotcha. So yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean that
um,
I think I think experiences like that, they stick in your brain because there's you have a certain compass, and that compass is going to lead you in the direction that you want to go. Whether it be uh, through community, through work, or whatever it is that makes you happy, you still have those pinpoints in there that guide you. And so, you know, that's, man, that's unfortunate. That's so sad. But I mean, hey, at least that's crazy that you write something like that, because I kind of did the same thing. To be honest, it was not the same scenario in any way, but when I put that EP together, the Belief EP, I wanted to put something about my uncle, Eddie, who passed, and there were things that he would say to me, and like little phrases and stuff like that, that are in the song. So
Mm-hmm.
when you listen to the lyrics of Good and You, I was gonna name it Rooster, but I felt like that was too close to the best, because Rooster was his nickname, and so I just put like that phrase "Good and You" was actually he used that all the time. So that's one little egg that's in there. But there are so many other different phrases that are actually in that song that he used to say to me, and little stories hidden in there. Of course, I got 100 of them, but you know, it's funny how loss is a very, very interesting thing. We're not meant to deal with death as humans. There's people can say all they want how they're used to it and that they've seen it their whole life, but it still can hit you at some point. There's no question. And so I feel like, and I think this for you too, is that you were able to say the words in maybe not necessarily a different format, but in a way that's able to be communicated to audiences and try to make them understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I get out of it. Now, did he hear that song? What did he think of it? When did you play it for him?
Well, he's heard the song ever since I put it to guitar. But
Oh, yeah.
when Steve Doctor worked with it, mixed and mastered it, then I went on Zoom, and I didn't tell my dad that I was gonna get it professionally mixed and mastered. So when I went on Zoom, I had him listen to it, and I actually recorded his reaction. His eyebrows were up. He was like, "Oh, this is so cool." And then his eyebrows went down. He's like, "Oh," like almost about to cry, but like it was a huge roller coaster throughout the whole song. He was so happy, but then
Yeah.
so sad. And so I think it really put it more into perspective. Like for him, he could hear it more. Even
Yeah.
though it was
Yeah.
already his poem, he could feel it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, was he always a writer back in those days, or had it been recent, like in the years when he came back?
No, he actually, story that I just learned about a few years ago. When he was in the army, he loved to sing, and he was in like a barbershop quartet kind of thing,
Yeah.
and they all ran off base, which you're not supposed to do without letting your, you know,
Superiors.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he went off base, and he actually was on a radio show,
No
and
kidding.
they found out, and he got reprimanded for that, but.
Yeah, those guys are all dead.
But yeah, it was pretty great. I didn't know any of that, but yeah, he's always been writing poetry and singing songs. He never wrote songs of his own, but the poetry in itself was like songs. So
Yeah, absolutely. There's a friend of mine who's been on the show, really since the beginning. Taze Jones. I don't know if you ever heard the episode, like the one with the Mandalorian. It was like a couple episodes. Anyway, I'm ranting at this point. He he decided to start his own podcast with certain types of poetry, but he'll put like different sounds and like kind of musical stuff to it, and this is very interesting, Mela, is that when he did this type of a podcast, in my mind, you have one podcast and you have one specific goal, is to play like an intro song, with sort of a lead into whoever's on or what have you, And it's right from talking. You know, my show, I'm trying to do something a little different, which is have music as an intro or, you know, a joke as the intro. It's like just mixing and matching of certain things. His is like a combination of two or three of those things. What's the matter?
Oh, it's okay. You froze for a second. I got a little nervous there.
Did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't
Dang
actually.
it. Okay, I'm sorry. No, my friend Taze's podcast, he has like a mix and of all those different things that I was talking about, which is like music and sort of a lead in and everything. But his podcast is all poems. You know,
That's
like,
cool.
and he had haikus a couple weeks ago. It was fantastic, and it's like it's not boring. You know, it makes you want to, stay with the podcast and just finish it. And that's the difference. Is that like it's a big deal when poetry means something to you, but I think it's right than what you just said about mixing and mastering it. It sort of brought out different aspects that people may not hear before.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing thing, really. I never would have been able to do that.
This whole pandemic has really brought out musicians and artists, really,
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
artists in general. So that is pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh my word. Absolutely. I mean, you invited me to this show a couple months ago. I was on, and there was like 300 something people on there, and then it grew. And I was just like, this is insane. But I was amazed at all the musicians that were so locally, it's so funny how everyone widely knows each other throughout like the New England and then half the country. It's ridiculous. But what an amazing show. I just like, you got out there and you were able to play a few live shows before you actually moved, right?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. In Florida, I didn't do too much. But when we moved to Kentucky, I was amazed at how much this is like a music state. They love
Yeah.
music. So
Yeah.
there's live music everywhere.
That's crazy.
And there was a pub right next to our house in Georgetown. And love that place. Slancha, awesome.
You know what that
But I would
means, right?
cheers.
In Irish,
Yep.
Salange.
So it's a really awesome place though, and I went there. It was pretty funny though, because I mean, you know how I think of myself. I really don't think I'm that great. But the first night that I played there,
Think
I got
again.
a radio offer, and I got
What?
yes. They asked if I could be on the radio. It was pretty awesome.
I'm coming to Kentucky when this is over. Put me in front of those
Totally.
people.
You totally should. But yeah, so that was the start of it. And the man that was doing the open night mic night there, we become friends. His name is Sam, actually. Um,
He must be a great guy. I'm just saying.
he's pretty awesome, actually. But he got me quite a few gigs over here. I went to my first ever hootenanny.
Really?
Yeah, I got invited to play at a hootenanny.
What'd you think?
It was awesome.
Yeah, you did like it?
Yeah, it's cool. But
Good.
yeah, and this is the bourbon place over here in Kentucky. So there's a lot of big
A lot of thirsty people.
well, yeah, that. But then there's like a lot of huge wineries and bourbon places that they have
Yeah.
here that
Yeah.
that are really awesome to play at. So I've gotten a chance to play at a few wineries that have been really nice over here, and
Gotcha.
yeah.
Now, wait, was that your first little like run of playing live? Like, did you start playing in because I know you played in coffee shops when I met you. And different little joints like that. Did you go other places before that, or was that kind of the start?
My very first gig was an anniversary party.
Yep.
I got laughed at.
No.
It was bad though. I knew nothing. So I was just thinking that I knew everything and
Wow.
I got laughed at. So but other than that, I did play at this huge, it was like a warehouse, but it was turned into a like rec room bar place.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
I played twice there, and then we
Sweet.
moved to Florida, and then I
Oh,
stopped
so this
playing
was
for a long
before. This
time.
was way before I met you, then.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. But I got too scared after that. I was like, I don't want to play live anymore. And then that's when Ross called me and said, "Hey, uh, I got a gig for you. You can't say no. You're going." Okay, Ross. Do you
Wow.
really think that people want to listen to my music?
Listen, he's been my best friend for a long time. You never have a choice.
No,
You
not with
never do.
Ross.
You never do. You could be a mute and not even be able to speak, and Ross would be like, "Nope, I'm in charge. Get over here."
I've also learned to never leave my phone unattended when you're with Ross.
Oh, please, please.
I
He'll
have
take that
like,
thing. He'll hide it on you. You'll be looking in Ireland to try and find it. There's no way. The kid
oh
is
no, no, no. It's right where I
relentless.
leave it. It's right where I leave it. But when
But
I
it has
come
a
back,
billion
there's
pictures
like
on it. He does that
15,000
too.
pictures of Ross.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And they're not even of his full face either. They'll be of just like his little birthmark that he got from Costa Rica. And it's just like, what is happening? What's happening?
I saved those because I miss him so much.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's just like the universe right there, man. The guy finally moves back to New England, okay? I see him 3, 4 times maybe. And then COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, to be honest, I was also very very spoiled because I always went to Florida and I always had vacations where I could go. So, which is hilarious because it's like I would show up at the airport and Ross would pick me up and he's like, I see you more than the people that I see here. It's like there's no way that we would never be in contact because you would either be there or I'd be here, and now this stinks. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm rambling at this point. What do you think? Like, it's gonna be a really weird situation when we all come back to play live.
Oh, we're gonna be awkward.
I
It's
think
it's gonna
so.
be awkward.
I
Like
think so. Yeah,
I'm getting used to just seeing people on the screen and
I know.
playing and like pretending like they're not there, but to actually hear them, because Zoom, you can mute everybody.
Yeah. Couldn't you wish you do that in real life?
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness.
Hey Sam, how you doing? Yeah. No. Sorry, I can't talk to you right now. It's like that
I
Seinfeld
I
bit where he
can't
goes,
hear you.
I wish I was an answering machine. I'm not available right now. Try again later.
Yeah.
No, man. But I think it's gonna be weird. I mean, just to look out at the people and see if they're sitting together or if it's all like completely spaced out.
I got I had a gig, but I canceled it on account of I didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
But the gig was outdoors, and even though I'm supposed to wear a mask, I'm singing, but I'm gonna wear a mask, and then everybody else is supposed to wear a mask. But I'm like, that's just no.
Why? Why
I
would you do
just
that? Like
no.
literally, why? It's you know even if you don't care about taking the risk, it's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. Like people aren't vibing together. They're just like constantly trying to make sure that they're not getting in everyone's way. They're like, ooh, ooh,
Mm,
that's not gonna be a good environment.
mm-mm.
So I mean, like honestly, I'm happy to wait. I don't really have too much going on right now anyway in the way of live shows, but like I've had offers and stuff like that to uh go record with different bands and stuff like that I'm friends with already. So it's like it's gonna be different anyway after not rehearsing and being in a band for a while. But if it happens, I think I'll be more comfortable with other people than I will myself. But that's just what I'm used to now, because it never was that way.
I have a difficulty playing with people because I am so out of sync.
Yeah. Out of sync how? What do you mean?
I need like, oh yeah, one of those metronome things around my wrist. They have them now. They're really awesome.
What
And
is it?
instead of clicking, it makes a vibrating on your wrist to keep you in
Yeah,
tune and in
sure.
time.
In time. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I want one, but they're, like an Apple Watch, super expensive.
$1 billion.
Yes.
Sheesh.
But anyway, yeah, I was working with my friend in Lexington, and he's a great guy, and he's really good at what he does. And I feel so bad for him because anytime we played live, he'd have to stare at my guitar and be like, "What are you doing?" Like, you just skipped a beat right there. It was not good. But he kept in tune. He kept in time, and he tried to follow along with me. So I really I appreciate that he did that.
Yeah.
But I apologize to him every time after playing live. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, man. It's a very, very interesting thing to when you first start a band, and even after you're in a band for a while, and things fizzle off, and you go and start another band. It's still a big project to figure out that chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out in the band room. Figure it out on stage. It's not an easy task. But once you get in the rhythm, it's like it never leaves. So it's
I
it,
would like to have that.
you will.
I was in a quote unquote band when I was pregnant. That was interesting. Having this humongous belly with a guitar that I have to play like super sideways because I can't move it in front of me. And
Well, at least you knew the baby was enjoying it, rocking out.
oh yeah, he would actually move from one side of my stomach to the other and start kicking the guitar like it's a drum. It was very weird.
Kept beat. Was it good? Was it good
I,
already?
he likes the drums,
Yeah.
but now he's turned to not liking so much instruments as liking to sing.
Oh,
This boy, oh my, he can sing,
really?
and not what you think.
No, no, no.
Like
I don't even remember what his voice sounded like, so don't worry about my opinion.
he sings opera.
Really?
He can sing opera. Yeah, have you heard of Vitas, right?
Yeah, of course.
Vitas, the Russian opera singer. Vitas is awesome. Yeah, my son sings that. He hits the notes.
That's high.
He can sing Christine from Phantom of the Opera. He hits the notes.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And since we've been in quarantine, I finally showed him Phantom of the Opera, and he played it 24 days in a row. Every morning, singing to Phantom of the Opera. The whole album. Every song.
It's that interesting, huh?
He just really he likes opera.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Opera. Hey, we all got different tastes. That's an amazing thing. If you could be into that, because I don't know anyone that's into opera
No.
at all.
Oh, I will say that my dad is. And so like my dad is Vinny's a copy and paste of my dad. There's no doubt about it. Just copy, paste, down to the moles on his face is the same as my dad's moles. So
Nice.
yeah, it's funny. But anyway,
Wow.
music runs in the family.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. My dad always had aspirations of playing guitar and stuff like that, but he never did. I don't know if it skips a generation or not in my family, but my grandparents, both of my grandmothers were musicians.
Hmm.
And I never knew. I never
That's
knew.
funny.
But
It's funny how that could actually like go in through the genes, like the love of music, even if you don't like there's a lot about my dad that Vinny doesn't know about.
yeah,
And yet he comes up with these things and thinks he's original. I'm like, oh no, my dad did that.
crazy. Yeah,
That's funny.
I think it skipped a generation altogether because it was my grandfather's mother, and then my grandmother, and then me. So each parent. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's funny. It like it's it's interesting to think how when you stand on stage or something like that, you wonder if you're actually connecting with people. Like especially if your family's in the audience, you wonder if your family loves your music, and even if they say they do, it's just kind of like, what did you like about it, really? Because you guys probably know me the best, right? So what does that actually sound like to you? Do you ever wonder that? Because like I know when I was out there, I would stand on stage and I would see people in the back corner, just like in timeout and stuff like that, and sipping their sippy cups and just like, I'm not involved. So it's like when you see people like that or you have experiences like that, what do you think?
I mean, I like when people enjoy their time. I personally I like to be background music.
Yeah,
And so that's what I expect. When I played in Florida, I mean, you've been there and
sure.
hearing that people are super loud
Mm-hmm.
and I'm background music and I'm fine with that. But
Yeah,
here in Kentucky, when you start playing, people listen
really.
quiet. I'm like, whoa.
Like, oh, like so they're actually all silent. Like they really sit there and
A lot of people just sit there to listen
no
and they really
way.
listen. I know that like creeped me out at first
That'd
because
be
I'm
so
like, dude,
weird for
like,
me.
can you just talk or something? Like, don't stare at me.
Get out of my eye line. That's crazy.
But
Yo,
my
that would be weird. I mean, it'd be cool. Like, I'm all right with it, but I mean, I wouldn't have been all right with it then, as opposed to now. Because, like you said, like, the way you feel about background music now is the way I felt when I first started going out and doing dates. Is like, I would go out by myself, after the first band. Like, when Ross moved to Florida and I stayed here, I just started doing my own thing shortly after. And I got to tell you, to be as vulnerable as that and go out and try to do something like that is a huge step. Is a huge step. It takes about like 5 or 6 years to have the guts to even say, I'm going to get up on stage and play in front of people. It's a big deal.
Mhm.
It is a big deal. So it's like when you talk about something like that, it makes me feel like I used to, because I would get out in front of people and you could just see their eyes on you. You really
Yeah.
could, because like some of the places were kind of like that. There was a little bit of talking, so it didn't throw me off, and I would just kind of glide through it. But if no one's talking, that's like, okay, okay,
Crickets.
yep, sure. Wow, that's gnarly, man. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to. I have a lot of new music coming out. I can't speak on a lot of it. It has a lot to do with the documentary. Like it's going to be I don't want to say a soundtrack because it's not going to be a soundtrack. It'll be an EP to the whole doc. Whatever. So I'm not really sure how I want to present this, but you know, I'm I certainly am excited to perform those songs in one way or another when all of this is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So have you been on podcasts before? Like after you did this one the last time, have you been on any other podcasts?
Nope, I'm not that interesting.
Really? Yeah. Well, I'm not that interesting. I only write killer songs, and I have the voice of six angels mixed together.
Oh no.
Dog, don't put yourself down like that. Come on. I wish I had the talent of that type of voice. I really do.
That would be kind of awkward though, because you're a guy.
Yeah, but still, I would at least I'd stand out. You know half the
You
comment. You
would.
know half the comments I get. I'll go to shows and be like, "Oh, you really sound like this guy. Oh, you really sound like that." Like it's like, I thank you because like I can, at least do them justice. But I want to sound like me. No offense.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. No, I get that all the time though. I get like people come up to me say I sound like Jewel or who's the other person they said I sound like? One person said I sound like Adele. I'm like, dude, no.
but it's so aggravating. It's like I just want to be an original. And eventually I think it's all time. Because people go on different journeys or whatever, move on. But it's just like that comes with time. And, you know, originality. You just blossom out of that. You want to become an original through that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so tough. It really, really is.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many singers out there, and people really, when they're listening to music, they want to find something comforting, something that they've heard before, kind of thing. So they always do you sound like this, you sound like that, because that's what's comforting to them. They know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And then you stay in that zone.
yeah, it's a category.
I used to do it.
Category, whatever.
No, I used to do that too. Like it was one of my downfalls is that you get up on stage, and honestly, I think it takes a while, as I said, to figure out if you want to get up on stage. It also takes a while for you to sort of respect your craft and like your songs and stuff like that.
That is true. I'm still But just because of posting more often and seeing how many people like my songs, I'm finally realizing that, oh, I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm still in the process of like, I really don't like the sound of my own voice.
Right,
And
because
recording
and
stinks because
it's
you have to
like
hear it all the time.
and an amateur like wants to just run out there and start to just cover everybody's voice. Like I can do this voice or I can do this voice. It's just like you try to blossom out of that. You don't want to do that because then that's exactly what you're going to be known for the rest of the time that you go and perform. Oh, this guy sounds like this person. You want people to talk about you because of your originality. And you can always tell that too because like there are a lot of just solo acoustic guitar players that go out and perform, and I've never seen anything like the way that they play or the way that they sound.
Oh, there was this one girl. Oh my goodness. Okay. She played at the pub when I was told to go there and check it out and play there. She was playing and I'm like, wow. She was a mixture of so many different people that I've heard before, but I'm like, she is her own. And it was cool. She did the whole mixing many songs together kind of thing. But she had this rasp to her and she's just so cool. I was happy to find something different, you know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you should look her up. Her name is Chelsea Nolan. She sings a lot of country, but
Right.
she has some pretty cool stuff too.
I feel like I've heard her before, but I cannot remember.
She's a Kentuckian.
Wow. Yo, how's the chicken there? Don't be straight with me. Is it good?
Is this where fried chicken came from?
That doesn't answer the question.
It is finger licking good.
They don't make that sauce anymore?
Really?
No, they discontinued it over here. I was so mad.
That stinks.
Have I told you that that's Ross's favorite place, though?
Really?
Yeah.
KFC?
Yeah, well, because it's mixed in with a Taco Bell. That's his biggest complaint. This guy moves away for 10 years, has brilliant food all over the place, comes back here. Yeah, I miss Taco Bell. Excuse me? What was that, sir? So every time he would come to visit me recently, like before COVID, he would be like, I want to go to Taco Bell. We're going to Taco Bell. He tells me like 10 times. I'm like, dude, you're not even in the state yet. Get off your phone and get here. Just focus on driving. Calls me again. We're going to Taco Bell? No, we're not. It's over. You abuse your privileges. That's all I ever hear. What's wrong with people?
Well, I mean, that's like if you live in California and you move away from California, all everyone talks about is, I want to go to In-N-Out. Like, I miss In-N-Out, which I do that all the time. I miss In-N-Out.
Where did they have In-N-Out down south?
No.
Because they had, what do they got down south? They got Culver's. They got
They got Culver's. They got Popeyes.
Popeyes, Chick-fil-A.
Yes, which is over here too.
Oh, there's Chick-fil-A over there?
There's Chick-fil-A over here. Yeah,
Whoa.
it's chicken.
What are the delis like? Talk.
Deli. I don't know.
Okay. Not important. Not the most important. What are the diners like? Fill me in.
You know where we live? Oh, okay. No. I take that back. I was gonna say we have, from what I've tasted, is nothing. But I take it back. There is this one restaurant in Georgetown, Kentucky. Oh my goodness! If you're ever over there, I love it. It's expensive, but it's called Local Feed, and everything that's there is local, like locally grown, and everything. So it's awesome. When you get steak, it's from there. Like, it's from the farm right over there. It is fresh. It is awesome. And they have new stuff because it's seasonal, like as far as some of the foods,
Right.
when it grows and whatnot. So some of the foods are new each time you go that you haven't seen on their menu before, and they experiment with stuff. And it's just. And the best thing that they have, which sounds stupid, but they have this amazing mac and cheese. And I'm serious.
It doesn't sound stupid. For
It's
Kentucky,
amazing.
I'm like, really?
Oh, yeah, and their chicken and waffles. It's awesome. It's spicy too.
I swear. People stop texting me. I can hear it. Idiots. God, don't they know I'm doing a podcast right now? Everyone knows what I'm doing.
24 hours a day.
Oh my word, I'm gonna throw my phone so badly.
Don't do it.
What was your best and worst experience on stage?
Oh no. Oh, okay. Let's see. There's so many worst. Okay, one of them. Oh, this made me so embarrassed. So
What?
I was at Starbucks, and I was near the end of the gig, near the end of the set list, and my son comes up and he goes straight up to the microphone and he says, "Mommy, when are we leaving? I want to go now."
What a savage. Oh my god. Not
He just
having
wanted
any of
everyone
it.
to hear.
Mom.
He's like, "I'm going."
There we go, Mom. Yeah. That
I
is
look over, I'm like, why?
crying.
He had his tablet, he had his DS, he had thousands of people around him. Why didn't he do it?
That's how you know how today's youth is faring. With all these electronics, you could put 1,000,000 of them in front of them. It's still not going to be good enough. It's not going to be good enough, so just stop.
It was bad. Wait, I learned from then on that he doesn't really like my concerts, so he doesn't go.
Oh.
He stays with his grandparents.
Okay, so that was the worst one. What's a good one?
Well, the open mic night, that wasn't a real gig, but like I said, that one night I got offered another gig and I got offered to be on the radio. That was pretty awesome.
Nice.
But there was this there was a few pretty good ones over here. There was one guy that put in a really big tip, and I looked at him, and as I was playing, I'm like, "Are you sure? Like, did you mean to put that much money in the tip jar?" Um, awesome, thank you.
Never question it. Don't
Um,
even question it. If he wants to throw on his Rolex, you don't say nothing, okay? You just sit there and pretend you don't even know what's going on. You kindly look at him, say, "Yep, thank you," and continue to play. Don't even
yeah,
question it.
I,
My
I I think that there was one more where like I wasn't meant to play there that night.
yeah.
Like I said, my friend he works with another girl, and they're in a band together, but she was out of town that night, and they still had a gig. So he's like, "Hey, do you want to cover?" I'm like, Psh, yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't supposed to be there that night, but we ended up playing together, and everyone in the whole winery was clapping and looking out and like wooing us. Whoa! Like, oh, oh,
That's
that's
crazy.
cool.
That feeling. So I'm gonna do my two.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. You're okay. I'm sorry for what? Don't ever apologize to me. What's wrong with you?
Everything.
My worst. This was so awful. I'm in the 7th grade. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not an intellectual by any means, and I don't claim to be. So, I would never paid any attention to school. And you would think in that time that I would be focused on this next sentence I'm about to say. But I hate to tell you, it was the first time I ever played in front of people. In the audience, there was this one chick that I had the hots for a long time. Guess where they put her in that little gathering?
Front and center.
Right in front of me.
Yep.
I screwed up the lyrics. I screwed up the playing. I'm sweating bullets on stage. And we bombed. I just bombed. Guys, I don't want anyone to listen to this podcast and think, "Sammy, we don't know what you're talking about." Because I'm telling you right now, every person has felt that way at least once in their life. This was by far the worst situation that we could have had. And I called my mother away from work to bring me the guitar so that we could rewrite lyrics to this one song that we were going to like do a cover or a different version of or whatever. You just had to change the words for the project. My mother was so mad at me, and then I bomb on top of that. It was hands down the worst feeling in the world. And on that day, I knew exactly what I had to do. Keep practicing. Make yourself the best guitar player you can be. So that's what kind of pushed me over the edge. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Being embarrassing yourself in front of your entire 7th grade class. There was a lot of kids in my school. A lot. And in just the 7th grade, and you can see everybody, there's no bigger nosedive than that. There really is. It was terrible. But yeah. I mean, school's weird. You feel like you have to do good.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was your best?
My best time on stage. I had this had to be 2014, 2015, right? Let's pretend right around that time. Um, there's a buddy of mine that's playing this show in a different part of New Hampshire. Um, and it's not that far from me, so he shoots me a message. He's like, "You want to come? You know, hang out." And at the time, I was talking to this one chick, and she was like happened to be going to the same thing, the same event. And so I'm like, "Yeah, I'm definitely going." That's two reasons for me to go. Two solid reasons. So my buddy who I go to see perform, him and I are kind of tight. And, you know, during the show, he tells the people running it, "Listen, I got a buddy of mine. He wants to come up and play a song." They say no. They said no. You can't do that. You can't interject other people into your set. He didn't really care about that.
Oh, how?
So I the two best things happened that day. I was younger at that point, so the girl that I was gonna go see and try to talk to, her like curfew or whatever was coming up, so she had to leave. And so by the time I got that information, I had already been told to just come up after the third song. So she leaves. Whew. And I get up on stage, and in front of everybody, there had to be, this was probably like 400 people right around that time. I may be off on that number, but at that time, I was already playing acoustic shows, playing them and playing them and playing them. But the best part was that I didn't know any of these people except for just a handful. And so I got up on stage and I completely blew the roof off the building. I leveled that room. I swear, Mel, it was crazy. It was like, because I had one song that I had to play. You go up, you play one song. And I played Sound of Silence as a solo act. And the place just ignited. The best feeling. Like, it was such a good day. My buddy went to bat for me and was like, "Sam's getting up there and playing a song. You know, I'm not embarrassed anymore." And I just completely found myself in that one performance. I was so comfortable. It's like, this is it. One song, that's it.
That's awesome.
I drove home feeling like $1 billion. I swear.
Yeah.
I swear. It was tremendous.
That
Absolutely tremendous.
there was I don't know if I told you this, but my friend invited me to a big wine festival. She got tickets to go, and it's normally really expensive to go in,
Yeah.
but she got free tickets from a radio show.
Nice.
So she's like, "I'm taking you with me."
What's with
Awesome.
everybody going on the radio over there? They just like try to find people? Want to be in the radio? Want to be
But
I'm just kidding.
no. But she took me, so we went we went wine tasting, and I jokingly said, because they were like, "Yo, come on, you're gonna have more," and I'm like, "Well, if I have any more, then I'm just gonna steal that man's guitar and play some songs." And they're like, "Ha ha ha, let's give you another drink." And so I just jokingly said, "Fine, okay." So after the man was done with one of his songs, I walked up on stage. And I said, "Hey, I'm a musician too. I was listening to you." And he's like, "Oh, you're a musician? Hey, I really need a lunch break. I haven't eaten or drinking anything. So, here, why don't you go take over?" Like, "Oh, okay, cool." So it's pretty gross because the guitar was super sweaty, and the guitar strap was like covered in sweat because he'd been there all day.
Oh,
It was gross, but
like a sponge that just sat there for two
yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah. And but I went up there and I sang "When Doves Cry,"
Wow.
and I started off slow because I got up there and I'm like, wow, I really did this. Like I took this man's guitar and I'm up on stage in front of I don't know how many people. It was a wine festival and,
Yeah.
acres of walking with all these booths and whatnot. And I
Yeah.
played and I think I still have the video. There was one of the waitresses that was walking around giving out food to people. And she stopped and turned around in the middle of the stage and was like, "You go, girl. Yeah." And she just like went all crazy. But it was hilarious. And then because the man had been playing like country music the whole time, and so I go up there and I sing Prince. They're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why you don't hear country music on the radio anymore, people. And if you hear it, it's because it's the same ones that were the good ones in the old days.
Mm. Not in Kentucky, I'm sorry. In Kentucky it's all country.
Hey, hey, hey. If I want to throw out a false fact about something, I will, okay? You don't have any right to judge me. This is my show.
Will that be edited out? It'll be edited, won't it?
Dude, I don't even know how to work a hairbrush. How am I going to edit this thing?
That's what hats are for.
Well, what are your plans? Like, do you have plans to record soon? Are you going to be putting anything out
Yes.
again?
Yes, I was actually working on one song, but then I got reminded by several people, which this is always like makes me feel weird because people requested one of my songs. Like several people requested one of my songs, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing? You like my music and a specific one that you want to hear?
Dude, I worked at Beaver Street, okay? The deli that I used to work at. Remember? I think I met you around that time. Like, I was going out. Like, it was, the deli was on his way out. But I was working there at the time. And, like, somebody comes into the deli or whatever, and we're chit-chatting. And his friend comes in, and he's wearing a soda shirt.
Oh,
And I was like, hey, how's it going? Nice shirt. And he's like, oh, dude, I saw somebody that I met at the gas station. He told me about your album. And I was like, what? Who? And he told me the name, and I was like, baffled because I don't even remember who that is. But it's a crazy feeling to have somebody go, oh, I like your music. I want that.
that's cool.
That's
I want to
nuts.
make t-shirts. I want t-shirts.
Make some.
But would people buy them?
I will.
Like I was thinking about
I'll
paying
buy
to
them
get
all,
like
like the Joker, and wear the same suit over and over and over again.
I was thinking about making like a chibi,
A what?
the little chibis like
What's a chibi?
it's like they're a person but it's cartoonish and it's
A toy?
no, like it's art.
Really?
It's
Okay. Are you jazz hands now? What are you talking
yes,
about?
spirit fingers.
What?
No, it's just art, but it's like I don't want a picture of my face on a t-shirt, but if it were art,
Why
I
not?
think it would be cute. Yeah, like it's not really. Yeah,
What do you
but
have in mind for art?
I just, I, my friend made this, which, we're on a podcast. Nobody's going to be able to see this. But
Yeah, they will.
what?
The podcast is on YouTube now.
You didn't tell me that.
Well, I haven't put it out as a video yet. We're still recording. If you, we
People
don't have.
gonna see me?
Is that a problem?
No, that's fine. I've come to terms with
Don't
my look.
scare me like that. Jeez. Give me a
It's
heart
fun though.
attack. I want everyone to hear
Here,
your music.
this. See, that's like it's a chibi.
Oh, there they are.
No, my goodness.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah, that was a long time
Yeah,
ago,
that
but
was your picture there before your face.
yes.
Yeah, I
But I
remember
want
that.
a new one, and
Yes.
then put it on shirts and see if people would buy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you could just draw your axe like a guitar.
My axe?
There, your guitar like an axe. That'd be
Oh,
attractive.
oh man.
Make your character the Grim Reaper.
Seasons don't fear the reaper.
Oh my word! Did you ever see that video where on Kimmel or Fallon where Chad Smith looks like Will Ferrell?
No.
They uh they did a skit with the more cowbell because Will Ferrell was on, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers were on. And they just broke into that song, and then you see Will Ferrell play. That's a crazy video. Yeah.
I've
So
got to
anyway, back to my question. So you do have plans for things coming out?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was starting to work on a recording of The Play of Life, one of my songs.
Yep.
But then people kept requesting for my song By the Hand of Jah, which I played so much a few years ago that I kind of got burnt out on it.
Yeah.
But then since everybody said they really liked it, I'm like, huh, maybe I should do that one next instead of The Play of Life. So I've been working on it. It sounds really good on the 12 string, which I don't have in my hand right now. But
I miss playing a 12 string. I used to play a lot of my acoustic shows with a 12 string. It was fun.
really,
Yeah.
I don't think I could play a full show of it. That
Oh, I
oof.
had arthritis by the end of the shows.
Yeah,
They're like, here's your drink, Sam. I'm like,
yeah.
thank you. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Well, that's cool. So, you're. Is it going to be like an EP or a complete record or?
I'm just taking it slow.
Gotcha.
I'm doing a bunch of singles, and then when I feel comfortable, I might just take all of them and put them as a like redo them to an acoustic set,
Gotcha.
an acoustic album. Because I've had a couple people say they really like Stasis, but they like it more as an acoustic. So, yeah.
That's such a great
Which funny
song.
thing about that, I have two Stasis songs out now.
Yeah, I actually picked up on that. I saw it the other day. I was like, I thought this already came out.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, I got really excited because working with Steve Doctor, he like, changed a bunch of stuff. I'm like, wow, this sounds really awesome. But then I posted it and he's like, you did not tell me you were going to post this. I'm like, why? He's like, I did not mix and master it fully. It is not a complete radio edit.
Oops.
So he's
Houston,
like,
we
it's
have an
okay.
issue.
You can come out with a remastered edition. It's fine.
When
So that's
you
what's
and you and I are gonna work on a song too. Like we're
totally.
gonna do a cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't.
Shallow.
Yeah,
Right. Or should I not have said it?
I wasn't gonna tell him, but I
Maybe it's not that. It's
tell you
something
what.
else.
If you didn't hear it right, then it's your fault. No, it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited to work on it when I figure out how technology works, because I'm an
Oh,
idiot. I'm sure the audience already knew that. Well, where can they find you on the intrawebs?
on the interwebs. I am on a YouTube. I am on X. I am on
What is your name on YouTube?
My brain is gone. It's gone. That's not my name. Sorry. My name my name is my brain is gone. I want that. Oh, that would be such a good name. Because it's so fitting for me. My YouTube name, I have to look at it because I'm not there. It is Mela B.
Cool.
Yeah, I changed all of my things to Mela B now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So on all platforms.
Yep. So, and then I like that I'm on Spotify and Pandora.
That's crazy.
It is. It was weird. My son said to play Mela B music the other day on our Alexa thing.
Yeah.
And I started playing my music. I'm like, this is so weird. I can hear my voice.
Yeah, that happened to me on the Alexa.
Mm.
I was like, what the? That's crazy. Wow. You remember when what was I going to say? When Pandora was like the beginning of that kind of music on your iPhone? It seems like so long ago.
Yep. We old.
What happened? What happened? Why did this happen? Anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, go check out Mel B on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and so on and so on and so on. Check out this podcast. I really want to do more stuff like that with more musicians coming on, like maybe have them play a song and then talk about it and stuff like that. So hopefully we can do more stuff like that. So stay tuned for another episode, probably next week. I have big plans. Big plans. Mela, thanks for coming on again.
You are
I
welcome.
appreciate you, and I will talk to you a little bit later, right? Are you going to come on the show again?
As long as that's acceptable.
It's always acceptable. All right.
Awesome.
And we are clear.